In case you missed it, today marks a pivotal moment in YNW Melly's legal battle. His bail hearing is underway. His legal team is optimistic, claiming they've built a strong release package backed by arguments from two distinct legal perspectives. They believe this dual strategy increases the odds of securing his release. Meanwhile, Melly's conditions behind bars have been extremely troubling. His mother recently went public, revealing heartbreaking details about how he's being treated, stating that he's not even being treated as a human being. And legally, correctional facilities are bound to uphold the humane treatment of inmates, making this a serious concern.
You saw Melly's statement, just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life. As a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone.
As part of their defense strategy, Melly's legal team plans to introduce evidence from the original trial that directly disputes federal claims. The prosecution insists that the murders happened inside a Jeep, but Melly's attorneys argue otherwise. They say GPS data from his phone proves he was seen running down a street and hiding in a bush at the exact time of the crime. If true, that evidence completely disrupts the narrative being pushed by the prosecution.
I'd be the part where he's saying that someone just shot the car up and was trying to shoot them. So I asked him if he was okay, where he was, and he's like, there's a car coming behind him, like hiding. He was like, there's some, there's some. I think they're still out here or something. So I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I'm okay. I said, well, where are Sack and Juvie? And he said, I don't know if they're in the car. I think they're...
To bolster the argument further, Melly's lawyers will revisit an important point from the first trial: the complete absence of a firearm at the scene. They claim this crucial detail suggests a drive-by shooting, not a murder committed inside the vehicle. Since no gun was ever recovered, it implies the shooter likely fled with the weapon, supporting the defense's drive-by theory and casting major doubt on the prosecution's timeline.
So the first thing is I didn't have a firearm, so I can't know which firearm I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So I can't make tests for this determination because I don't know what was used.
Okay.
But the prosecution isn't backing down. One of their strongest pieces of evidence is a text message allegedly sent from Melly's phone just hours after the killings. In that message, he reportedly wrote, "I did that." If confirmed, this could be seen as a confession, giving prosecutors a powerful weapon to counter everything the defense presents.
PC Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, "I did that," and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time. The YNW Melly count says what?
After that, SHHHH.
Prosecutors also pointed to video evidence taken from Melly's phone, specifically a Facebook live clip recorded 6 hours after the murders. In it, Melly and YNW Bortland are seen dancing in a parking lot. Authorities claim the video displays a shocking lack of remorse, raising even more questions about their mindset immediately following the incident.
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey! No, still turned. Regardless of what happened, you already know.
There was no sign of grief for their fallen friends, Sackheiser and Juvie, but the biggest twist came from a surprising source: a rogue Oblak crew member. This person claimed that money may have been the real motive. Allegedly, Melly didn't want to continue sharing his earnings with the other YNW members. A motive that turns this case from a mystery into something potentially fueled by greed.
Vaughn really tell you that Melly told him that he was two friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got into an argument. And so, you know, if you know, when people could say something without saying it. And so he told me, like, once I posted what I posted, Vaughn was mad at me. Bro, why you put up there, bro? Walter Bam. I'm like, you sitting up here, like, you know the love we got. You do this for us, but you gonna trust that his two friends? And he said, them was trying to extort him. And so I'm like, if they was trying to extort him, then why are you still around?
The claim gets darker. This motive was something Melly reportedly confided to King Von. But before Von's untimely death, he shared that information with members of O Block. According to the insider, YNW was structured as a business and LLC. Melly and Bortlen were generating income through shows, merch, and deals. But Juvie and Sackhazer weren't contributing much and still expected a cut. Now, prosecutors have filed motions to try Melly and Bortlen together in the next trial. Calculated move that could be devastating for Melly's case.
Here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together. It just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once. And also, you get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way, they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking a penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. You're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found.
Here's why that strategy could work. If Bortlen knows he's not responsible for the killings, he won't want to take the fall quietly. Many believe that under pressure, Bortlen might turn on Melly to save himself. The groundwork may already be in place during the first trial. Melly's own attorney hinted that Bortlen was actually the one responsible, subtly planting seeds of doubt in the jury's mind.
Were his lives. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with two bodies, car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket, not Cortland.
That idea was confirmed when Melly's lawyer claimed Bortlen misled federal investigators from day one. Not only that, but he allegedly had gunpowder residue on his hands and was present at the crime scene. The defense even brought in a forensic expert who testified that the residue was consistent with someone who had recently fired a weapon, directly pointing the blame at Bortlen.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of hot residue and two-component particles, and the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of hot residue and 1 two-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was hot residue present on the hand.
It's believed that Melly and Bortlen haven't communicated since the incident. Tensions hit a peak when Melly's mistrial was declared. On that same day, Bortlen posted a cryptic tweet, "Mind games don't work on people like me," with a handshake emoji. Many interpreted this as a warning that he was under pressure to stay quiet. Melly's attorney says it's only a matter of time before Bortlen speaks out. Making matters worse, Melly's ex-girlfriend who once fled the country to avoid testifying is now back and ready to talk.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023.
When Melly's ex, Mariah, returned to the U.S., she was arrested at the airport but shockingly released just minutes later. In a heartfelt message, she posted, "Thank you to my village. God's plan, not mine." That's when the truth came out. She had struck a deal with prosecutors. In exchange for her testimony against Melly, she was immediately granted her freedom. Even worse, disturbing evidence found in her iCloud account revealed that Melly allegedly tried to convince her not to testify. This constitutes witness tampering, a charge that could result in life imprisonment regardless of the murder verdict.
State filing 6 new charges against Demons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
Even if Melly beats the murder charges, witness tampering could still destroy his future. It's treated as a separate case, and the penalties are just as severe. So how did the feds uncover this tampering? It all started when people in Melly's hometown began chatting about Mariah's involvement on Facebook. Eventually, the investigation led to Juvie's father, who conducted his own deep dive. He interviewed locals and uncovered coded phrases Melly allegedly used to intimidate Mariah into silence.
Jamel Demons, YNW Melly, and Cortland Henry, who is known as YNW Bortland, are now charged with witness tampering. There was this kind of crazy way that Melly was communicating. He wasn't allowed to use the phone, but he was passing notes to people, and then this person's calling this person, and then that person.
Saying like to me, they going through extreme measures, try to cover up or convince people not to testify, like Mariah mom. They was using code words like Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's baby mom.
Due to this alleged tampering using jail phones, Melly's phone privileges have been completely revoked. His mother, Jamie King, was so disturbed by the treatment that she went public in an emotional interview, accusing the jail of mistreating her son and violating his rights.
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail. They don't give it to him.
If Melly really was using jail phones for witness tampering, the authorities likely have hard proof. They wouldn't risk legal fallout by denying his rights over just suspicions. But now, the big question remains. Is this mountain of evidence enough to keep Melly behind bars for good, or will his legal team pull off a miracle? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This case is far from over.